beef demand is still holding strong. So Derrell, what's driving this demand?
Well, I think there's a number of factors going on. You know, sometimes we really just have to acknowledge that preferences are strong right now, and we don't usually know that until after the fact. But when you look at the more economic signals, if you will, I think there's broad-based, demand support from the macroeconomy. Unemployment's low. More people are working, so that's good. I think a big part of it has to be the fact that our trade picture has been very supportive this year in terms of beef exports.
Well, speaking of trade, there was some new trade data released. Did it show anything interesting with what's going on there?
You know, the trade data continues to be very supportive, not only for beef, but across the board. So for the month of June, which is the latest data, beef, pork, and, broiler exports were all up. If we look at, for the year to date, beef exports are up nearly 15%. On top of this, a little bit more than 15% for the month of June. And we're up to, almost all of our major markets. In the current month, we're up to Japan, Korea, Mexico, Canada. We were a little bit down in Hong Kong, but we're up for the year to date to all of those markets. So beef continues very strong. Again, pork looks pretty good. As well. We're looking at record meat production in the U.S., beef, pork, and poultry. And so that's going to be, it's going to be a challenge to work through that meat, and these trade numbers are very supportive of that.
So we're always talking about the trade disruption lately. How might that impact producers going forward?
Well, again, lots of things can happen. In terms of the beef industry or beef market specifically, direct impacts, of course, could happen, although beef has been relatively sheltered from most of the actual tariffs and so on. We do have tariffs on beef to China right now, but we're not exporting very much to China. However, in the month of June, we did see a decrease from the previous 2 months, so that may be indicative of those tariff impacts. The bigger potential impact on beef markets specifically is if we do disrupt trade, particularly for pork, then we're going to see an increase in supplies in the domestic market, and that's going to put further pressure because of this record level of production we're seeing in the U.S. market. So the other thing that could happen is we begin to see higher prices on a wide assortment of goods, and at some point that may very well impact consumer spending in a general sense. Beef is pretty vulnerable whenever consumers see any sort of squeeze in discretionary income.
All right, thanks, Derrell. Derrell Peel, Livestock Marketing Specialist at Oklahoma State University.